Ross. Good morning. We are rolling along. It's hard to believe it's already week 3, and excited about the challenge this week, taking this team on the road. Obviously, we've not done that yet. We've had two good opponents here in the Valley, and excited about how our team has improved at this point. We still got a long way to go. But definitely off to a good start. We're 2-0. That's where we wanted to be. But got a lot of improving to do if we're going to get where we want to get to. And the next goal for us is to win the division. And so that starts this week. First division game for us on the road at a place where we lost 2 years ago. Great environment. They do an awesome job up there. And we're going to have to play well. Simple as that. Got a lot of respect for Syracuse. They beat us 2 years ago, and then last year, had us on the mat for a 2 count, and we were able to get up and find a way to win the game. Very fortunate. So got a lot of respect for Syracuse. Our team has a lot of respect for Syracuse. Dino's done a great job up there, and we're very well aware of the type of effort and energy and toughness that we will face in this Syracuse team. No, last week's game got away from them, but that won't be the version of Syracuse that we'll see. So we're excited about the challenge. Again, it's the next step for us. If we're going to be a great team, then you got to be able to win on the road. And it takes mental toughness. It takes maturity. It takes a lot of discipline and focus and communication to be able to execute offensively, especially. Defensively, it's quiet. So it's a different deal when they go on the road. The defense kind of, I think, takes that energy, and it's always different on the road. So just maturity and mental toughness to go and really execute at a high level in a tough environment. That's what we're looking for this week. But they got a good team. Obviously, their quarterback is a veteran guy. He's been around. He knows their system. He's athletic. He can throw the football. He's confident. He's got good size. They've rotated 3 backs in there. All of them can make plays. Got good receivers. 86 has made a couple of the big plays early, and then defensively, 2 All-American ends that are going to play on Sunday, no doubt about it. A couple All-American candidates in the secondary. They've had one of their better D tackles has been out. Not sure if he's going to play or not this week. But it's going to be a tough matchup, simple as that. This is a division game, and everybody knows what's at stake. We know a lot about them. They know a lot about us. So it comes down to execution and again, in a tough environment. So looking forward to heading up there. We're healthy. We're in a good place, and guys are excited about continuing to get better. Any questions?
Coach, the tempo with which Syracuse plays on offense, how much of a challenge will that be for the young guys up front like Tyler Davis?
Yeah, well, we're a tempo offense too, so we practice that way every day, and so it's something that he's used to. It's not going to catch him off guard, but the first couple games they've really slowed it down more than they've tempoed. I think that they've looked to the sideline a lot, and just kind of pick their spots. They have some fire plays, and all of a sudden where they go really fast, but they have not been lightning quick. They play fast, they play with tempo, but very similar to what we do.
Coach, what do you see in Tommy DeVito compared to what they had last year in quarterback?
Well, they're very similar. They're both savvy, both great leaders, both tough, both are athletic and can run the ball, both can push the ball down the field, and the staff has a lot of confidence in them. The team has confidence in both these guys. So a lot of similarities. Maybe not quite as big as Dungy, but still he's not a little guy. He's got good size on him.
Is Amari full go now in practice, and do you expect his reps to keep growing?
Yeah, he's been full go. We wouldn't have played him if he wasn't been full go. So no, we're not been holding him back. He played 30-something plays last week, so he played about as much as anybody, and it was good to see him get out there and get going. But again, he is still that's his first scrimmage situation since he got hurt. Still working his way into true game shape football game shape, and but it was good to see him get knocked around. Got hit a couple times, a couple catches, and just kind of getting in the rhythm a little bit of the game. But yeah, he's been released and good to go.
Coach, I know you don't have a lot of time to listen to what other coaches say leading up to the game, but Dino yesterday likened the way you protect Trevor Lawrence to the Game of Thrones. You have a castle, a moat, and then some dragons that the dude's protected. Just curious what your thoughts are from Dino's comments on that.
Oh, I think that's just classic Dino right there. I think he's got respect for our team, and I don't know anything about the Game of Thrones, so I don't know what all that stuff means. But we try to do a good job of protecting him and try to put playmakers around him, in the offensive line, and tight ends, running backs, receivers. So that's definitely something that we try to do. But we had a lot of them same dudes a couple years ago too when we got beat, and so I don't buy any of that stuff.
Amari said one thing that sticks out about the last trip to Syracuse is just how loud it was in the environment, maybe louder than they were expected. I guess what is it about that place that makes it so tough to play?
Well, I mean, it's a confined space, and so there's an echo, if you will. I mean, it just there's nowhere for the noise to go, so it stays in there, and you let them get it going in there, it'll get rocking. They do a nice job up there, and I think they're expecting one of the biggest crowds they've had in a long time, and I think that's exciting. It's a night game. I think it's ABC, so we kind of got a national audience, and so everybody wants to put their best foot forward, and that includes the fans. So the fans will show up, and they'll do an awesome job there. They always do.
Last time you went there, we got this roster being 80% sophomores and freshmen. What do you tell those guys going in there? They went there 2 years ago.
We'll talk a lot about. We kind of have some things that I like to talk about leading up to our first road game. Kind of first road game thoughts, reminders, tips, if you will, that I talk about every year, regardless of the makeup of our team, because I think it's important to revisit those things. But at the end of the day, if you're a good player, you're a good player wherever you are. At home, if you're only a good player at home, you ain't a good player. You're an average player because you're a 50-50 guy. So I don't really make a big deal out of all that stuff. I mean, I love going on the road. I think it's just it's a different way of at home it's easy because it's just like a natural energy from an inside out standpoint. But on the road, you've got to change that around. You got to make sure you draw from that energy. You don't let it drain you. You let it increase your energy and tap into that energy of the crowd, even though it may be pulling against you. You don't have to know that. So it's exciting about playing ball on the road. I love it. I've always loved that. Going on the road, play basketball, everybody's on top of you. And I just think it takes a certain mindset. And, again, mental toughness and great coordination and communication. It's just there's just something exciting about it. We can only have 72 guys travel. We've got 120 on the roster, so we got a lot of guys that don't get to go. It's just kind of like, all right, this is what we got. Let's go. And everybody's against you, and I think it's fun.
Does all that noise impact the way you guys communicate? Is that something you're going to talk about as well? Make sure everyone's
Sure,
on the
sure, absolutely. It can definitely impact the way you communicate because, at home, our defense has to deal with it every week at home because that's when our crowd is the loudest, is when we're on defense. And so we have to communicate and be able to function, whereas offense, we can do what we need to do. But it definitely can impact you if you don't prepare properly, if you're not locked in, if, again, you don't have the discipline and mental toughness and just truly the focus to block all that stuff out. Again, if the external factors determine your performance, you're probably not going to be a very good player or a very consistent player because you don't control the external factors, good or bad. So just be locked in on what you've got to do. Every player, every position has a process. Play in and play out on what they should be doing, and that's all. You just got to stay focused on that. But from a communication standpoint, it's something you've got to work on all week, and you got to prepare your guys with your cadence, with how we're going to communicate, whether it be hand signals or whatever it may be. So we'll do that. I mean, we're fortunate we've got an indoor here, and we try to make it unrealistic, to be honest with you, because we feel like if we can function in practice, then we'll be able to execute on game day.
You guys pride yourself on consistency, but the last couple of years, whether it's NC State or Notre Dame, Alabama, even last week, you had the leave no doubt mantra where you felt like the previous time, time or two that you played those teams, that you left some doubt. What is different about the heightened sensibility of your team, knowing that there was doubt, and now, like, what's that next level for maybe a game like this where you struggled with these guys the last couple of years?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's the next level. It's just let's just keep doing what we've been doing, and that's trying to do our very best each week, and we try to dominate the opponent. I mean, it doesn't matter who you play or where you play. They keep score for a reason. Let's try to dominate the opponent and have a killer instinct to our team, and do it for 4 quarters. Let's come out ready. Let's sustain throughout the game, and let's finish. And so we're growing. We're a long way from being where we want to be, but we're growing, and we're coaching, and we're teaching. But certainly last week those guys had an edge to them, simply because there was a lot of talk during the week, and and we're like, hey, we better. I mean, let's just show up and play here. And I appreciated our guys and how they handled themselves, and they just went and played. But they accepted the challenge. Challenge was made. They accepted the challenge. But the way I look at it, every week there's a challenge, and you either accept it or you don't. You get yourself ready or you don't. You play with toughness and focus and details, with great effort and passion, or you don't. It's a simple game when it comes right down to it. And you win your matchup or you don't. You win at the point of attack or you don't. You're relentless to the ball or you're not. I mean, so we're just trying to really coach this team and teach this team, what it takes to win consistently, because we have a room full of guys who think they know, but they really don't know. And thankfully, we got a couple of rows full of guys that do know, and they've got a very clear vision, and they're great leaders. So I'm just really pleased with how they've stepped up and performed to this point.
Coach, coming